Am I the asshole? Husband keeps waking up toddler. So our toddler started sleeping alone about a month ago, 15 months now. She goes to sleep around 7 p.m. I tried to be very quiet at least until she falls asleep so I don't wake her. I do a lot of household chores when she goes to sleep, but I do them quietly. My husband on the other hand makes so much noise. Of course, I also will accidentally make a noise once in a while. I am very apologetic and feel bad right when it happens. He on the other hand will make noise and not even care much. I literally yell at him every day because he always wakes up our toddler. His office wall is connected to her bedroom, so any noise he makes while sitting at his desk, like eating or clicking his mouse loudly, will wake her up. I get mad at him, but he treats me like I'm overreacting. I again called him today asking him to please try to be quiet after he slammed his plate down when getting food to heat up in the kitchen. He told me, "You'll just have to get over it, it's life." He also told me that he's mad cause he can't even make noise in his own house. I don't feel like I am being unreasonable because as long as he's quiet enough that he doesn't wake her I don't care. I am just tired of being the only one who cares. He brings up the fact that I also make noise, but at least I intentionally try not to and feel bad if I'm accidentally loud. I just hate to hearing my daughter cry because she was woken up. It literally causes me anxiety, and I can't do anything until she falls back asleep. Edit. I have a sound machine that we run pretty loudly so that isn't a solution. Also when I say eating I mean slamming his fork down on his plate. He plays video games so the clicking is like banging his mouse lol. I was with you until you admitted that the noise he is making is clicking his mouse and eating food in another room. Your daughter needs to learn to sleep through noises like that, and at this point it's your anxiety that is making this into a whole thing. You're the asshole. Clicking his mouse loudly? You're the asshole. Life has to continue to happen even when the toddler is asleep. It doesn't sound like he is doing anything unreasonable. If he turned up music or ran the vacuum cleaner, you would have legitimate beef. It sounds like he is making an effort. Put her in another room if his mouse clicking is too much. Toddler will get used to ambient noises and sleep through them soon enough. Calm down. You're the asshole. If noises like clicking loudly are sufficient to wake her, then it isn't your husband's fault. Look into moving around living situations so her room is more isolated, or get a noise machine to try to drown them out. I used to vacuum while my daughter was sleeping, even under her crib, and she slept like a champ. Maybe I just got lucky, but I think it's not helpful to tiptoe around your babies, kids. His office wall is connected to her bedroom, so any noise he makes while sitting at his desk, like eating or clicking his mouse loudly. If your walls are functionally a piece of lace and your child has the hearing of a falcon, that mouse clicking wakes her up through the noise machine. IDK if you can call him the asshole there. Slamming plates would definitely do it. I'm going to go with Esh. I was with you until I read this. Clicking his mouse loudly. Really? How does anyone click their mouse loudly? You sound like Liz who killed her husband, Bernie, for chewing his food too loudly in the cell block tango. You are the asshole. Am I the asshole for not scheduling my wedding around my sister's family planning? My fiancé and I got engaged this summer and we think we have found our venue for a very small wedding. We are strongly leaning towards May 2026 but would consider September as a backup. A few weeks after I got engaged, my older sister, 33F, suddenly got her IUD removed and told my mom and I that she and her boyfriend, 27M, are starting to try for a baby. She noted in her ideal world, she would get pregnant fairly quickly and the baby would come around June. After my sister revealed this to us, my mom started talking about my September wedding. I clarified to her that while September is a backup, I strongly prefer May. She was taken aback and pointed out that my sister might be very pregnant and unable to come to our wedding. I had considered this, but I also considered that it's not guaranteed that she will get pregnant right away or at all, making it just as possible for her to be heavily pregnant in September. Additionally, even if her ideal timeline did work, I live 600 miles away from her, so I doubt she would come to a September wedding with a newborn anyways. My mom seems certain that my sister will get pregnant right away and said it would be inconsiderate of me to pick a May wedding date. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Tell your mother it's inconsiderate of her, sis, not to plan her pregnancy around your wedding since you were planning your day before she started planning her pregnancy. Definitely stick to May if it works for you. You cannot possibly plan a wedding around what might be going on in someone else's life. I can see why your mother would love your sister to be able to attend your wedding, but her advice is just not realistic or practical. Not the asshole. Do what works for you and your fiancé. You have zero obligation to plan around your sister's plan to have a baby. I hope she's super lucky and can conceive exactly as planned, but a lot of women know it doesn't always work like that. You shouldn't have to sit in limbo waiting to see if your sister's exact plan is happening. Not the asshole. Best wishes to you. Not the asshole. Your logic is sound. There's no telling when or if your sister will get pregnant. Frankly, it seems to me like your sister wants to upstage your wedding with a pregnancy. Is the type to be upset that her younger sister is getting married and she's not even engaged? My guess is, your engagement caused her to have a frank discussion with her BF, and they ended up planning to have a child instead of a wedding for now. Not the asshole. You can't plan your life, wedding around your sister's potential pregnancy. If she can't make it, that will be sad, but not the end of the world. Make sure you include her in as much as you can while she's able to travel. Your mother is going to have to stand down here, but it's probably a good indication of how she might behave around wedding planning in general, so consider now what your boundaries with her are going to be. Not the asshole. If your sister is pregnant and too far along to come, well, that's something that happens sometimes in life. Does your sister happen to be a golden child? With the way your mom automatically assumed you would push the wedding to accommodate her and then said it's inconsiderate of you to pick what day you want to be married because your sister might be knocked up, it sure seems like it. Am I the asshole for yelling at my mom after she let my grandma cut up my favorite shirt? Earlier today I was in the living room when I noticed my grandma cutting up a t-shirt. When I looked closer, I realized it wasn't just any shirt, it was my shirt. This wasn't some random old shirt. I've had it for 10 years, and it was the very first shirt I ever bought with my own money. It wasn't expensive, but the front design has a lot of sentimental value to me, which is why I've kept it all these years. For context, the shirt doesn't fit me anymore and it's obviously old. I could afford to buy thousands of new shirts if I wanted to, but that wasn't the point. This one was important to me. When I realized what was happening, I freaked out and called for my mom. I was really upset and ended up yelling at her for giving my shirt to my grandma to cut up. My mom brushed me off and said it was just an old shirt, that I was exaggerating and ungrateful, and that she could buy me 100 more. She told me I was making too big a deal out of it. To me, it wasn't just a shirt. It was special, and now it's destroyed. I got so upset that I locked myself in my room and cried. Later, my mom called my dad to complain about me, and then my dad called me to hear my side. From what he told me, he had already gotten mad at my mom and grandma when she first explained it. Apparently, he asked my mom if the shirt had any sort of design on the front. When she admitted it did, my dad reminded her that both he and she know about my hobbies and interests, and they know I place value on things like that. He also told her that it was my property, not something she had the right to make decisions about. For additional context, I'm currently in my parents' home country on vacation to see family. I only came because my parents wanted me here for my cousin's wedding. Otherwise, I would either be in Asia right now with friends for a graduation trip or in Europe, where I study and live. My dad apparently even pointed out to my mom that if I didn't have some attachment to the shirt, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to buy it across borders in the first place. After I explained my side to him, he agreed with me completely and said my mom and grandma were in the wrong. He also told me he's going to make my mom take the shirt to a clothing repair shop to see if it can be fixed. My mom, however, still insists I overreacted and embarrassed her in front of my grandma. But I feel like I had every right to be upset since it was my shirt and nobody asked me. Could I have handled it better? So, am I the asshole for yelling at my mom when I saw my grandma cutting up my sentimental shirt? Maybe you can take the front of the shirt with the graphics on it and make a throw pillow. Not the asshole. Sorry you have such a shitty mom. Your dad sounds cool, though. Not the asshole. Your dad gets it. And it's funny, but sometimes when people are presented with what they did wrong in the moment, their only reaction is defensive. This is what your mom did. She was so focused apparently on how embarrassed she felt, that she tried to minimize your feelings and say you overreacted, not that she did anything wrong. You are not the asshole. Could you have handled it better? I mean, I'm not a fan of yelling, but in the moment when you realize something precious of yours is destroyed, then yeah, yelling kind of happens. Info. Is this a shirt that you packed and brought with you? Did they find it in the laundry and just decided they hated it so it was okay to chop up? Or was this a shirt kept in your childhood home? Why did they cut it up? Not the asshole. Mom is 100% wrong here. Not the asshole. She did it on purpose because she didn't want you wearing a small, tight, old t-shirt. Am I the asshole for asking my roommate to stop using my expensive shampoo? I, 19M, share an apartment with my roommate, 20M. We get along fine, but recently I noticed my shampoo bottles emptying way faster than they should. It's not just any shampoo, I have a scalp condition, so I buy a specific medicated brand that costs like €25 a bottle. Last week I caught him using it in the shower. I asked him about it and he said, "Bro, it's just shampoo, calm down." I told him that it's not just shampoo, it's literally prescribed for my scalp and also really expensive. He rolled his eyes and said I was being dramatic, and that if I don't want him to use it, I should hide it. I feel like he should respect my stuff without me needing to hide it. I told him to buy his own, but now he's being passive-aggressive and telling mutual friends I'm selfish over soap. So, am I the asshole for asking my roommate not to use my shampoo? Not the asshole. And if this comes up with mutual friends, tell them he's using your prescription shampoo that you had to get your doctor to order, and it's really gross that not only is he using your expensive prescription, he's pretending this is a conflict over a cheap bar of ivory when telling them about it. Not the asshole. Step 1. Keep this bottle. When it's empty, put something fucked up in it. Mayonnaise or toothpaste. Step 2. Let him use it and watch him freak out. Or, keep it in your room. Lol. Not the asshole, but I would still hide your shampoo. And at renewal I'd consider a more conscientious roommate. Not the asshole, but since he can't be trusted, hide your shampoo. It's a lose-lose sitch for you, though. You hide it, he calls you dramatic. You don't hide it, he continues to use it cause you're apparently responsible for his behavior. Not the asshole. He can call it just soap, so let him use dish soap then. Let's see how that goes for his scalp. People like this only understand boundaries when they're forced to. Fill up an empty bottle of your shampoo with dish soap and leave it for him to use. Keep your good stuff in your room.